Hello. I'm going to just quickly walk through how to use and how to think about email follow-up sequences here in VocationCRM. So this is a much requested feature from our community of users who wanted an easy way to keep in touch with inquirers who submit contact information to them, especially those who don't respond to that first email. It can quickly get overwhelming trying to remember to send multiple follow-ups to somebody, especially when they're not responding. So I've created a way for you to write and pre-prepare template emails to send to an inquirer and to schedule them so that you can, with one click, send a sequence of up to 4 emails to a single inquirer so that you don't have to worry about reminding yourself to follow up again with that candidate if you haven't heard from them. So I'm going to turn your attention to the screen here and just walk through how this is done quickly. All right, so on the follow-up sequences page, you'll see here there's a little bit of in the instructions where you're watching this video and the opportunity to click to create a new sequence. So when you create a new sequence, this is where you have the opportunity, the flexibility to schedule, to pre-write and schedule between 1 and 4 emails to be sent to your inquirer. So the first thing you're going to do is just update your sequence name, and I have some template content over here. Let's call this our initial response sequence, and we're going to do 01 just in case we ever make a second one. Initial response sequence. I recommend using a unique name so that on the candidate page when you're selecting the sequences, you know which one you want to send. For example, you might have a sequence for out-of-country rejection email that you can trigger to be sent to a candidate that only includes 1 email. That way you can just auto-send that 1 email to that inquirer. So let's say initial response sequence 01. We've got that saved up. All right, the subject line of our first email. Let's see, we're going to call this "Thanks for your inquiry." All right. And we are going to reply to, this reply to is the email address that when a candidate presses respond on that email is going to reply to. So this would be your email address. Or if you are, for example, writing the email, scripting this email on behalf of another vocation director in your office, maybe you want to include their email here because they're the primary one who should be tracking the responses from the candidates. Typically, I recommend it being your email. So I'm just going to add mine. All right, and then every email is going to start generically with "Hello, candidate first name." So this one would be, "Hello, Rory," or "Hello, James," or Jane, or whatever name that your candidate has. And you add the text that you want to send here in the body section. Okay? Can update if you want to, do some basic formatting. You can do bold and underlines, or you can do bullet points or numerical lists, or you can even add links to the text of your email. Doing this without any sort of over-the-top formatting is a nice way to look like it's actually, coming organically from you, like you just typed up an email. So make sure to, include everything that you normally do, your email signature, and then we're going to go ahead and save that email. So if we wanted to save this sequence and just be done with it, we'd be done, and we'd be able to send this 1 email to candidates all within the VocationCRM system. But let's go ahead and let's activate a second email. When you do that, as you scroll down the page, you now see you have the opportunity to schedule this follow-up email. So let's say you send that first email, you don't hear anything back. Typically, you'd want to follow up again within a few days of that first email to see if, they're still interested. So let's add a time delay of, let's call it 3 days. We're going to send that first email, wait 3 days, and then this next email will be automatically scheduled to be sent to the inquirer. So let's just call that following up, and we will copy our little text over here, and we'll say it's been a few days that I want to reach out. Talk soon, Rory. And let's save that up. Now, if you want to activate a 3rd email, great, you could do that too. If you want to activate a 4th email, you can do that. Right now, the system can handle up to 4 scheduled emails that you can add, time delays in between. If you want to deactivate those emails, it's just as click, slide that toggle, say I don't want you around anymore. And that's that. Now we just have those 2 emails active. All right. So let's move over to our candidate page where I'm going to just show you how this works when you are actually delivering this email sequence or scheduling this email sequence to be sent to one of your inquirers. So on your candidate page, there's going to be this new section that says email sequences. Select sequence out of your dropdown. The dropdown is going to show all of the sequences that you have personally created. So in this case, we know we're going to send this initial response sequence number 1. You'll see here just some other ideas. You've got the out of country, maybe a 4-day, a rejection sequence. Anyway, we're going to select that initial response sequence, 01, and you'll see there's no sequences active. You can only send 1 sequence to a candidate at a time, and the system will track that for you so that you're not duplicatively sending them multiple emails. That is you or anybody else on your team. So if somebody else on your team who also has access to the software is already scheduled an email sequence to that inquirer, you will not be able to. Only 1 email sequence active per candidate at a time. So we're going to click send. It says it's starting. And then we see here it says it's running the initial response sequence 01, and we've got this little animation showing that it works. So when you click start to sequence, it will also automatically track that in your activity timeline, including the lists and the dates of the emails that will be sent as part of that sequence. So I'm going to go ahead and just refresh the page here so you can see that upload there in the activity timeline. All right, sequence, initial response sequence 01 started by Rory Dayton, that's me. Email 1, subject line, thanks for your inquiry, scheduled to be sent 3/17/2026. And then email 2, following up, is scheduled to be sent 3 days later on 3/20/2026. That's perfect. Now you'll notice now we've refreshed the page. The option, it shows that we've got this sequence running. The option says stop sequence. So let's say that candidate does respond after that first email and you get their response in your email inbox. You wouldn't want to just continue to send them the rest of the follow-up emails in your sequence. No, heaven forbid. You'd want to just come into VocationCRM and stop that sequence so that you can manually respond to them and start an actual conversation. So let's just go ahead and say stop sequence. Great. So now it says, okay, no sequence is active. And on that activity timeline, again, if we refresh the page, we will now see that I stopped the email sequence from sending. So that is tracked here in your activity timeline for that candidate. That's really all. That's the long and the short of it. I'm happy to answer questions, of course. Always, please feel free to email me, and I can do a screen share and walk through any of this. But this feature came from you, the community of users who rely on VocationCRM to help with your vocation process. So I hope it's useful. I hope it's effective, and I hope that it makes things easier as you follow up and manage your communications with multiple different inquirers all at the same time. Thanks for your support as always. I really appreciate your feedback and your thoughts and your use. So I hope that this is really helpful for you, and I will continue to build VocationCRM to be the best that it can be. Thank you.